Hello YouTube Pipers, it's Double O Pipe. Rick to you guys. I felt like smoking a pipe, and like I said yesterday, anytime I do that, I feel like I should be sitting in front of this thing talking to that little screen, because I have no idea who I'm talking to in the real world out there. So, I forgot to leave this out. Doggone it. I'm going to use my briar. It's my Bing's favorite. Full of Carter Hall. So give me a minute and let me pack this. I should have packed it like I did yesterday, but I forgot. I was just too busy pouring my beer. After I got off the other day, I was kind of looped off of that 2 beers I had mixed there. I don't drink very much, so when I do have something to drink, it affects me pretty good. So I meant to drink half of this before I got on this thing. Morse called that food for thought. Supposedly it loosens up your brain cells so that you talk a lot more and you can tell stories better. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. Okay, I think it's packed pretty good. I guess I should go back and watch those mutton chop posts to tell you how to pack that thing, because I don't think I pack it right, but I do seem to be able to make it through a bowl every once in a while without stopping it beforehand. And I thought I would try some matches. Bought me a big box of matches. Of course, I need an ashtray, which I don't have on me. There's a distinct, subtle difference between this and the corn cob. But I have no idea. I couldn't put my finger on it if I wanted to. Once again, I really didn't have anything to talk about. I don't know what to say about Carter Hall except I like it, and I don't know that I want to go into anything different. I don't even want to try all those new ones I bought. I've gotten so used to this. Yeah, right. And I also want to try my new pipe. So, I understand we got 1 more week to go. So it'll be next Sunday. Which reminds me, I wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody that it concerns. Sadly, my mother passed away 10 years ago. And I miss her. My son and daughter's mother passed away about 4, maybe 5 years ago now, and I know they miss her too. But anyway, speaking of Clyde, actually I wasn't speaking of Clyde. I didn't know whether to tell you about Clyde or tell you about my being married in Iceland. Can't decide which one. I think I'll go with Clyde. I enjoy those more. Back in 1966, I went over to England for 3 months during the summer, visiting all the family. I hadn't really met them before. Dad brought us here to the States when I was 4. So, too young to remember anybody. But I felt very much at home with all of them. They took me in and showed me around and got me drunk, tossed me on my grandparents' porch. Whenever they dropped me off, they poured me onto the porch. Laughing the whole time because they knew my grandmother would be upset. But it was a good 3 months. During that time, the World Cup, it's not something big over here, but oh Lord, over in Europe and England and the rest of the world, it's big. England won that year. I was there when it happened, and there was dancing in the streets. It was just a wonderful time. There were some happy players and happy people who just loved the fact that they won the World Cup. And I don't blame them. It was a big thing. Anyway, I stayed over there for 3 months during that summer. Came back in time to go back to college. I was going back for my junior year in college. But that didn't start for another week. And Clyde, I met up with him and said, how about let's go over to the patio and have a beer. He said, okay, let's do that. Do something different for a change. That was something that those of us who drove around did every night practically. So we went to the patio, which was a little drive-in hamburger joint. Girl came out, asked us what we wanted. We asked for a beer and a hamburger. And she brought it out. Clyde paid for it. We started drinking our beer and eating our hamburger. And Clyde was talking about something. I don't remember what it was. And after I finished my hamburger, I looked at him and said, you know, after being in England for 3 months, all the excitement we went through and all the good times we had, this is just boring. Wasn't the right thing to say to Clyde. He said, nephew, are you bored? I said, yes, I am. This is just nothing compared to the happy times we had over there. I just can't believe we do this all the time here. It's just boring. He said, "So you're bored, huh?" I said, "Yeah, you might as well take me home." He said, "I'm going to liven things up for you." I said, "How you going to do that? For goodness sakes." And he said, "Move over for a minute." He leaned over, popped open the glove box, reached in, pulled out his Beretta, which he always carried with him, put it in his left hand, leaned out the window, and there was a Kentucky Fried Chicken right next to the place that we were. Right next. Big neon sign. And he unloaded his clip. Bam, 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 bam. Into the Kentucky Fried Chicken sign. I couldn't believe he had just done that in the middle of town. He shot up the Kentucky Fried Chicken sign. I said, "We got to get out of here. They're going to call the cops on you." He said, "Nah, we'll just sit here for a little while and finish up my hamburger." I said, "Clyde, you got to get us out of here. You can't believe that they won't get the police to come here and pick you up for that." He said, "Don't worry about it. I know the police. Ain't nothing going to happen to us." He said, "You wanted some excitement. I've just given you some excitement." That noise that I was making with this made Hunter run out here because he was wondering what the heck that was. It was just me. It was just me. It's nothing. I said, "Clyde, you got to get out of this place. You know they've called the police. You know the police are going to be coming." So he said, "Okay, we'll drive around a little bit." I said, "You don't want to drive around. You want to go home now. Get across the bridge. Get going for home." He said, "Nah, we'll just drive around town a little bit." So that's for the next 15 minutes we drove around town. There were sirens. We heard sirens. And he said, "You might have something. Maybe we should go home. I hear those sirens. They sound like they're over by the patio." I said, Yeah. You shot up the Kentucky Fried Chicken sign, you dummy." Can't seem to keep this lit. So we got on Spring Street. I can't remember now. I think it was Spring Street. To get out of town, we had to go over a bridge and through a place called South Windermere and then over another bridge to get onto James Island where we live. I said, "You better take it slow so they don't recognize you." He said, "We'll just drive normal. I'm not worried about it." So we turned onto the road, got up almost to the bridge, and 4 cop cars come screaming around the corner. One went right in front of him, stopped him cold. One stopped in the back. One stopped on his left-hand side. One stopped on his right-hand side. Those big old antennas they used to have on the cars would just woo, woo, woo. And they say, "Get out of the car and spread them." We got out of the car. We were leaning on the car, hands on the hood, legs spread, being patted down. They said, "Your name Clyde Parnell?" He said, "Yes, it is." He said, "We got a warrant here for your arrest." He said, "Why? What did I do?" He said, "You shot up the Kentucky Fried Chicken place. You can't discharge a weapon in the middle of town like that. You could have killed somebody." He said, "I was aiming over the heads. I didn't have any intention of killing anybody." He said, "That doesn't matter. You're going to jail, buddy." Now, he knew these guys, and these guys knew him, but still, they had a warrant, so they had to pick him up. That was about 2 in the morning when this happened, because we had been driving around for a while. That's 4 matches, 5. So we said, "Well, what do we do, officer? Can we get him out of jail? Can we get bail?" He said, "You'll have to contact jail and find out what the story is, whether you can bail him out or not." So we went to the jail with him. They said, "What are you guys doing here?" He's the one we wanted. He's the one that discharged the weapon. We said, "We just want to find out if we can bail him out." They said, "If you want to bail him out, it's going to cost you $500. I said, $500? Where are we going to find $500? I said, "That's your problem, not ours." So for the next 2 hours, we called people to wake them up and asked them if they could lend us some money so we could bail Clyde out of jail. I had to call my parents and ask them if they would give me some money to help bail Clyde out of jail. Mom agreed because it was her brother. She agreed to help. So we got the $500 together and went to the jail and bailed him out. He was upset because they confiscated his weapon. He'd had that Beretta for a long time, and that was his favorite weapon. He got another one later. And when he passed away, I got it. So I have his Beretta in the bag. The new one, not the one that they confiscated because they wouldn't give it back to him. Years later, the story was that he walked into the Kentucky Fried Chicken and said, "I want a family-sized bucket, and I want it now," and started shooting up at the roof. Yep. Shot up the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, who in the world would shoot up the Kentucky Fried Chicken just to give some excitement to a idiot like me who says this is boring? Clyde was something. He led an interesting life, I have to say. We had a lot of other things we did. He used to drive around a lot, and I used to go with him a lot. We used to go driving at Christmas, on Christmas Day, for Christmas drinks. All his friends, we'd stop at all his friends' house and have a Christmas drink. Yeah, I miss that boy. I hope I didn't bore you with this one too, but that was one of the highlights of my life. I I don't think it was a highlight of one of his because he was in jail again. He wasn't in jail often, but that particular time, I'll never forget all four of those policemen surrounding that car and jumping out of the car and saying, "Get out of that car and spread them." There was somebody in the back seat, but I can't remember who that was. I think I just remember trying to get bail for that boy. All right, folks. I appreciate your listening to me, and I hope all is well with you, and I hope that you're able to celebrate Mother's Day with your mother tomorrow. And I'll end up with saying God bless, and I'll see you next time.